Yeah, hi guys, good morning. And in today's session, we'll talk about Ansible. Okay, so let me know if you guys are able to see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Sabir.
Yes.
One second, guys. Okay, so we'll discuss about Ansible. So, any idea what is Ansible? Anyone? What is Ansible and why do we need
It's a
Ansible?
open source tool to use to deployment and create infrastructure.
Tool for
Deployment and
configuration management. Okay, so basically Ansible is a tool which is used for configuration management. We can also use Ansible for deployments. We can also use Ansible for our infrastructure provisioning. We can use Ansible to create EC2 or to create VPC or to create any other stuff, but that is not what Ansible is used for. Majorly it is used for configuration management. So when I say configuration management, what do you mean by that? This is the actual purpose of Ansible. Okay, so for example, when we say configuration management, so we have 100 servers. For example, we have 100 servers. We have EC2, we have EC2. Okay, we have different servers, like 100 servers do we have. And now my requirement is to install Apache in all the 100 servers. Our requirement is to install Apache in all the 100 servers. So what we can do? If suppose you got the requirement to install Apache, so what you will do? How you will install? Guys, what happened?
we can use Ansible.
We can use Ansible, that is different. Okay, we haven't spoke about Ansible. Apart from Terraform, so what you will do first, you will log into this EC2, then you will execute your commands yum install httpd, right? And then you will try to start the service. Again, you will log into the another server, you will use yum install httpd, and again same process for third server, fourth server, and till 100 servers you will manually log in and you will try to manually set up this. So what is happening here? Basically it will take a lot of time for us to set up something, and also we might see some human errors, means there might be a chance that we might do some mistakes, right? So that's always possible that humans can do a lot of errors. So when it comes to Ansible, what we can do is there will be one master server in Ansible, means wherever we have installed Ansible, we'll call it as Ansible controller. Okay, Ansible controller. This will be our main server where we have installed Ansible, and from this server I will configure all the 100 server list in this particular controller. Means I will pass all the 100 IP addresses related to my EC2 instances, and I will try to create one playbook in this server. Means in this particular server we will have one inventory file, inventory or host. So what do you mean by inventory or host? In general terms, what do you mean by inventory? That's a place where we'll try to keep all the data, right? That is nothing but inventory. So in this inventory, what I will do, I will configure all the IP addresses. 192.168.0.1, 192.168.0.2, 192.168.0.3. So go till 192.168.0.100. So what I will do, I will configure one inventory where I will configure all the 100 IP addresses related to my infrastructure. Means if you have 100, then I will configure all the 100 IP addresses. This is nothing but inventory. So we can call it as inventory or host file. So inventory or host file is nothing but a place where we try to configure our IP addresses or our host names. Okay. And then once this is done, so we have got all the 100 IP addresses, right? So once done, then what I will do, I will try to create one playbook. So what is playbook now?
User data, I think we can put it.
Playbook, yeah, kind of user data, but playbook is a place where we'll actually define what task needs to be executed. Means here my task is to create HTTPD Apache, right? So I will create one playbook with a task called task install HTTPD, and then in this task I will configure the task name, or else what I will do, I will use the module called m HTTPD. For example, if it is Linux based, then I will use m module, and then state equal to latest, and then one more task is to start HTTPD. So I will use module as service equal to HTTPD, state equal to started. So this is nothing but a playbook. In this playbook, we have two different tasks. One task is to execute or install HTTPD. Second task is to start HTTPD. So whatever you want to automate, whatever you want to execute, or whatever operations you want to perform, we'll try to configure everything in the playbook. Clear? In this playbook, how many tasks are there? Two. So we generally we can call this as task or play. So what do we call? We can call this as task or place. So how many plays are there? We have two different plays. Okay, clear what is playbook now?
Yes.
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 So
So
once
if
I
we
have
want,
created, yeah, continue. Someone will telling something.
so if we want the Nginx, so we need to we want another playbook, or we can give the task in one playbook.
So that depends. I mean, you can write in the same playbook, but what will happen? For example, if you are writing one more task for Nginx, so what will happen? You are making your file very complex. For example, you have the requirement to only install Nginx. Then how will you segregate that? So always make sure that we are having individual playbooks. Means writing different playbooks for different setups. Clear?
Got it.
Yeah. So once we have got our playbook, so what I will do from this controller machine, I will execute one command related to Ansible. For example, Ansible, and then playbook name. For example, this playbook name is httpd.yaml. So I will execute this command on my controller. So what my controller will do? My controller will first connect to these servers, means these services. It will try to connect to these servers. Okay. Similarly, it will try to connect to all the 100 servers. So how this connection is happening? I mean, on which port number this is connecting? This is very important, guys. Ansible always work on protocol SSH. SSH works on port number 22. Yeah. So Ansible will always connect on port number 22. So Ansible controller, what it will do, it will go to these servers and it will connect on port number 22. So once this is connected, what it will do, it will execute this task, and then This task will help us to install Apache and then start our service. Within one playbook and with the help of one inventory and with the help of Ansible controller, we can set up or we can install n number of servers. So which is easy? Ansible is easy or manual execution is easy?
Ansible.
Yeah.
Ansible.
Ansible will help us to ease our task. And the reason why it is called as configuration management is because it will help us to manage all our configurations. It can be installation purposes, it can be any deployment purposes, or it can be any other purposes. Okay. For example, you want to check the we got one requirement to check for the service. For example, our use case. This is a very basic use case. Okay, we generally talk about pre-patching and post-patching, right? In our self-intro, we have something called pre-patching and post-patching. So what do you mean by pre-patching?
Yes.
Bringing down all the servers.
Right. So bringing down all the servers. So how are we going to do? We are going to write one playbook which will help us to check all the services which are running on these virtual machines. And if the services are up and running, then my playbook will help me to shut down that service. Here we are trying to start, right? So I will replace this with stop. So what will happen? The service will get stopped. Okay. So the pre-patching and post-patching activities, whatever we are talking in self-intro, is something what we are executing with the help of Ansible. Now we have done our pre-patching and the boxes has been provided to the Linux team, because we tell them that we are working along with the Linux team, right? So Linux team has performed the updates, whatever updates were required, they have performed their activity, everything is done. Now the servers are back to our team, means that is our responsibility to start the services again. Whatever services were running, we should make sure that all the services are again up and running on the servers, right? So now my use case is to check if the servers has been restarted or not. Means whenever they apply any patches, what they generally do, they'll try to restart the machine. Servers will be restarted. So if you want to know the machine, whether from how many time it has been started, from or how many days it is running, so how can we check that? With the help of the command called uptime. Yes or no? We have one command called uptime which will help us to know the status. From how many days or how many hours, how many minutes our machine is up and running. Okay, so our use case is to check the uptime of all the 100 servers. So my use case is to check for the uptime of all the 100 servers. So for this, what should I do? For this, what should I do? I cannot manually log into all the servers and check the uptime, right? So or else I just want to check for the connectivity ping. Yeah, playbooks is something what we can define. Okay, so I want to check the ping, whether the server is able to respond or not. Or else I want to check if there is any particular file or not. File name. I just want to execute this command and check if this file is available or not in all the 100 servers. So we cannot manually log in. That is possible, but it will take a lot of time. And for small reasons, every time we cannot use Ansible playbooks. I don't want to write a very lengthy playbook for uptime. So we do have something called adapt commands. So we have something called adapt commands and we have something called playbooks. Okay, so adapt commands, when can we use? This is nothing but a single line command. It will help us to fetch the output. No need to write playbook. So I can use one adapt command, like for example, Ansible all -m and then ping. This is one command. So what it will do? This will help me to check for the ping. Whether my servers are able to ping or not. Or else I can use uptime. So what it will do? It will help me to check the uptime of all the 100 servers. So instead of writing a playbook, we can also use this. This is something what we use. I mean, this will be a very rare case, and I don't want to write a very lengthy playbook for this. So in this case, I can use these ad hoc commands. And if you want to do some repeated operations, or if you want to do some setups, installations, configuration management, deployment, then we can go for playbook. So Ansible will support ad hoc commands and playbooks. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now
Sir, what
we
if
have,
we want to check for a particular server, like only for a particular server, not the 100?
yeah, right. So who are this?
Chetan.
Chetan. I mean, Chetan, whatever you ask is a really good question. So for example, I don't want to check the status of all the 100 servers. We don't want to check the status of all the 100 servers. So in that case, what we can do? So here, generally what we can do is, I can have different playbooks. I mean, sorry, not different playbooks, different inventory. Means first inventory, it is for development environment. I mean, all the development servers will be written. I mean, all the IP addresses related to the development service, I will configure in this inventory. And second one, I will use for the staging environment. Third inventory I will use for the production inventories. And again, inside this, we can use different groups. We have something called groups. You can define the group, which group you want to call. Here, if you see this command, all is nothing but I'm trying to call all the servers inside this inventory. Okay, so if for example, you have one group called test, then what I will do, I will try to call my playbook or my command with the help of this particular group, Ansible test -m and uptime. So inside test, how many IPs are there? Only one IP. So it will target only one server. So this is how we can manage or segregate. This part you will understand when we are actually working on the inventories. Okay, Chetan?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So now what we have seen, that we know that okay, Ansible is working on port number 22. Ansible uses protocol SSH. We have inventory, we have playbook, we have other commands. Now how it is actually getting connected? This is getting connected based upon port number 22, right? So we need to always make sure of SSH password passwordless authentications. So we should configure passwordless authentication. So how are we going to pass passwordless authentications?
SSH key.
Using public key.
Right. So by copying the public key from master, means I will create one SSH keygen in here on my controller, and I will try to copy this key in all my servers. So we need to establish passwordless authentications. Why? Because while doing automation, right, every time, if suppose all the 100 servers are having different passwords, for example, all the 100 servers have different usernames or passwords. So what will happen? It will be very difficult for us to enter all the passwords, right? So even I don't want to manually enter them. So that's the reason I will try to configure passwordless authentication, and also make sure that you are using same username. I mean, common user. There should be common username in all the 100 servers. Then we can easily use Ansible for configuration management and for other purposes. Clear?
Yes.
So apart from that, okay, apart from that, do we have any other configuration management tools? Apart from Ansible, do we have any other configuration management tools? Yes, Chef and
Puppet.
yes, and one is we have Chef, one is Puppet, one is Salt Stack. Okay, so we have different configuration management tools. One is Chef, one is Puppet, one is Salt Stack. So these are the different configuration management tools available in the market. But why are we using Ansible only? Because Ansible is very much powerful as well as very easy for the configuration. Means we generally called Ansible as Ansible is an agentless. Means
It will direct connect to the servers.
yes,
No need of
yes,
any
mean-
mediator.
right. So means if you see this diagram, we have installed Ansible only in one machine, means controller, and we are not installing anything on these servers. That's make Ansible very unique. Means the setup is also very simple. You can easily install and connect and configure. Okay, so Ansible we generally call as agentless. And apart from that, Ansible, this will be asked in interviews. Ansible works on push based. Means this playbook, whenever we try to execute our playbook or command, right? So it will be pushed onto these servers. So we have two different type of configuration management tools. One is push based and one is pull based. Okay, so we have push based and pull based. So Chef will use pull based. Puppet is used pull based. Ansible will use push based. Okay, so this will be the different working nature of Ansible. In interviews, if someone is asking, have you worked on Chef and Puppet, then you can tell them, no, I have used Ansible only. So if you are able to understand Ansible, then it will be very easy for us to understand Chef, Puppet, and Salt Stack. There will not be much difference in these playbooks. Okay, here in Ansible we are calling as playbook. In Chef we call as cookbook. Okay, so that's the terminology difference majorly, and in terms of setup there might be changes, but apart from that everything will be same. Okay, and Ansible supports n number of plugins. Ansible supports n number of plugins or modules. Ansible support lot of modules. Modules, what do you mean by module, or what do you mean by plugin? We have seen plugins in Jenkins, we have seen modules in our Terraform. Terraform module is quite different, but we have providers in Terraform or resources in Terraform, right? So there's nothing but the API calls or the dependencies which will help us to ease our task. That's a predefined program, right? So even Ansible will support a lot of plugins. I guess it's around 1000 plus. Okay, and also Ansible is developed in Python language. Means this tool Ansible they have developed with the help of Python language. Okay, so if it is developed in Python language, then what is the prerequisite for us?
Python is
Yeah, Python will be the prerequisite. If it is something related to Java, then Java will be prerequisite. If it is Python, Python will be prerequisite. If it is Golang, Go will be the prerequisite, right? So hope this is clear.
Yes,
If you
sir.
have any questions, then let me know, or else we'll discuss the architecture of Ansible.
అడ్రస్ సర్వర్స్ అన్ని లైనక్స్ ఉండాలా డిఫరెంట్ ఓఎస్ ఉండొచ్చు
It can be anything. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it is Linux or OS. For example, your company your company has 100 servers, 50 are Linux, 50 are Ubuntu. Then Ansible will support both.
commands
Even Ansible will support Windows. Yeah, the only thing what we need to check is the modules. Here I'm using M module for Linux. If it is Ubuntu, I can go for APT module.
So we can make a different inventories.
Yeah, we can make different inventories, we can make different playbooks, or within the playbook, one playbook only I can write different conditions. I mean, based upon the operating system, the playbook will differentiate which task needs to be executed where, it will decide. Okay.
డిఫాల్ట్ 22 ఫోర్త్ నెంబర్ చేంజ్ చేయడానికి ఉండదా?
Change చేయొచ్చు. We can change every port number, right? But the default is 22. If you want to change, you can change. Okay. So we'll see Ansible architecture first. Okay, this is, let me open this image. Okay, here if you see, these are the users who will try to write the playbook. What happened? Got disconnected or what? Okay, someone is saying what happened. Okay, so we have this Ansible architecture. So it can be any cloud. I mean, it can be EC2, it can be Azure virtual machines, it can be our physical data centers as well. Anything is okay. So what we can do, I mean, the users, they will try to write the playbook and they will set up the inventories. Here we have modules, we have plugins, we have APIs. I mean, it will generally anything which try to communicate with other services, it will communicate based upon the APIs only, right? And then we have the host file, I mean the inventory. So this is how our general Ansible architecture will looks like. So they will be asking in interviews what are the different components in Ansible. So we can tell as inventories, modules, plugins, and playbook, and our APIs. Okay. And do we have any other thing? Let me check. Yeah, so we have the CLI. This is the cloud connections. These are the host files. This is core. These are modules, playbooks, and inventories. That's it, guys. We have very limited components in Ansible. You can refer this architecture. This is quite easy comparing to the previous one. Okay. So go for this architecture and try to understand the components which are available. Okay. So now we'll see how can we set up our Ansible. So first we'll try to set up 3 virtual machines. For these use cases, I will be using Ubuntu based servers. Okay, so how many servers do we need? I will be setting up 3 because I want one controller and 2 worker nodes. I want to test with multiple worker nodes, means by n machines. Okay, so I will be using Ubuntu servers. Ubuntu 20.04 is my image, and then T2 micro is okay for us, we can use that. And the key pair, let me create a new key pair. Ansible is my key pair name. Okay, and the VPC and subnets are something what we have already seen. So existing security group, that is default. 8 GB is okay. And then let me click on launch install. So what is happening now, it will try to provision 3 different virtual machines. Right, so it is setting up this will be my Ansible controller. Okay, and then there will be, this will be my Ansible worker 01. I'm providing tags so that I can remember them. Worker 02. So we have 3 servers. 3 are Ubuntu based only. Okay, I have used 3 images, that is Ubuntu 20.04 version. Remember the versions as well. This will be asked in interviews, which version of Ubuntu you have used, which version of Amazon Linux you have used. Okay, so try to remember the version. So now let me try to log into my Ansible controller. let me copy this. So where is my git bash? Pimp key is here, right? So let's open git bash, paste. Okay, so as we have discussed, all the username should be same, common username, right? So in this case, what we can do, we can use Ubuntu, because all the three machines are Ubuntu based servers only. I can use Ubuntu, or I can use the root user, because root user is also common in all the machines. For example, if you have Ubuntu and Linux, then what you can do, we generally go for service accounts. I mean, we create one new user, and that user will be used to execute the Ansible operations. Such kind of users are called as service accounts. Okay, so let me switch to root user. So currently I'm in root user. Now, what is the prerequisite for Ansible? Python. So let us
Python.
Python version, or else Python 3 version. See here, when I am trying to execute Python I mean Python 3 version, here I can see Python 3.8.10 is already available. Did we install Python?
No.
No.
But still it is available, because AWS virtual machines will be having Python by default. So no need to install Python. So always check if Python is available or not. If you are using AWS cloud provider, then Python will be available. If not, then you can go for the installations. So we have Python already installed. So let me install Ansible. So if I'll do Ansible, the Ansible version, then we can see Ansible not found, and it is asking us to execute this command. Straightforward process, guys. Unable to locate package. So first let me update my machine. Apt update. Always make sure that you are trying to update your virtual machines for the first time. Okay. And we do have documentation as well. So let me go to the documentation. Let me install Ansible and see now. Yeah, this time it is working. See, same command earlier it didn't work, but once I have updated my packages, this is accepting. Okay, so installation is done. Now if I'll do Ansible -1 version, then we can see the version of Ansible, that is 2.9.6, and here we can see something called config file, means etc ansible.cfg. cfg is nothing but configurations, means where our Ansible has been installed.
etc.
Yeah, so we can go to ct etc. This is the default directory, guys, ls. And then here we can find some directory called, some file called ansible.cfg, and then some file called host. Do you remember anything? What is host?
Inventory.
Yeah, so host is nothing but our inventory. So where it is available? It is available in etc ansible. Okay, and if I'll cat my ansible.cfg, this is the configuration file, right? So if I'll cat this, let me scroll up from start. Okay, so yeah, here I have executed cat, right? So this file is nothing but our configuration file. Means for example, here if you see inventory etc ansible host. So this is the default inventory. If suppose you want to change the inventory, means you want to change the location of inventory, then you can make the changes in this particular file. Okay, so by default it is configured in this location. If you want to make any changes, then you can edit this file. If you want to change any libraries or modules or anything, we can make the changes. Okay, here you can see sudo user means by default, if you want to provide sudo privileges to your playbooks, then you can use this option. Okay, and then we have the port number 22. If you want to make changes, then you can change this. Okay, and if I scroll down, you can find lot of information in this configuration. Okay, see lot of information. So whatever you want to make or make the changes, then you can do that. Okay, and also if I'll scroll down, we have some colors. Where is that colors? Yeah, here you have something called colors. Means if suppose you are able to see red color on your screen while executing your playbook, it means error. If suppose you are able to see some bright purple color, it means it is warning. If any module is deprecated, it is purple color. If you are unable to, if you are able to see, then it might be unreachable or error. So we have different colors. Based upon the colors, we can identify the error as well. Okay, if you want to make changes, then also you can do that. Okay, so this is something related to our configuration. So let me clear the screen. Now we have something called host file. So let me just cat hosts, hit enter. See, if you'll open this host, then we can see some default comments are available in this host file, right? I haven't configured anything, but it has been provided by Ansible only. So this is how you can configure your or set up your host file. This is something for beginners, means who have just started learning Ansible. Then this will help them to understand how we can create groups, how we can create different how can we add different this one IP addresses. Okay, so now what I will do, let me clear this, let me modify my host file. Okay, vi host, and I'm just deleting the entire thing. I don't want anything. Clear screen. So everything has been cleared. So now what I will do, so I will create my IP addresses. Okay, here I'm trying to create one group called all. So this is how you can create groups. Means in this group, how many IP addresses you want to configure. So I will create one group in my inventory telling that whenever I'll try to call all, means it will trigger all the IP addresses inside this group. Okay, so from where I can copy the IP address, we have the IP addresses here, right? So let me go to this instance. So worker 01. I will try to copy the private IP. The reason why I'm trying to copy private IP is private IPs will not get changed, right? So then no need to change the inventories again and again. Okay, so this is my worker 01 private IP, and then I will copy worker 02 private IP. Since we will be using passwordless authentication, it can communicate on private IPs, right? So this is how I have created one inventory. Now what I will do, I will create one more group, worker 02. Means as Chetan asked, if suppose I want to execute only on specific machine, so I will call this particular group. Now I will configure one more group, worker 01. In this group, what I will do, I will configure worker 01 31.16.177. So we have different groups in our playbook. Means worker 01, if I'll call worker 01, it will execute the changes only on one server. If I'll execute worker 02, it will execute the changes on worker 02 IP address only. On this machine only. If I'll call all, it will make changes on all the machines. So this is how I have configured my inventory or host file. Chetan, understood now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Guys, any questions on this?
Now so just we're taking only 3 instances, Sabir.
Yeah.
In case we have 2 more instances, how can we copy all the instances here?
So you need to come here, you need to copy the IP and paste. This is one-time activity.
Okay, we need
Okay,
to
or else we do have something called dynamic inventories. So again, in inventories, we have two type of inventories. Inventory or host file. We have static inventory. Second one, we have dynamic inventory. Inventory means static inventory means this is a fixed inventory, means this is what I have configured everything, right? So the IP addresses will not get changed. So that we call a static inventory. So you need to set up this manually. And then we have something called dynamic inventory. For example, you are using Terraform to create new servers, right? You are using Terraform to create new servers. And whenever new servers are getting created, you cannot always come here and make the changes in inventory, right? You cannot keep on adding or keep on deleting. If the server is deleted, you can't delete or modify the changes on your inventory, right? So in that point of time, we can use dynamic inventory. So what it will do, it will automatically capture the IP addresses of the newly created servers, or it will delete the IP addresses of the servers which are not available. So for this dynamic inventory, again, we need to have some Python scripting to capture the IP addresses. So this is different case, but let us talk about this as well, but not now. So let us focus on static inventory. But as per your question, yeah, we can use dynamic inventories to fetch new server details. Okay.
Okay, Sabir.
So and then what we have? Okay, so yeah, so where were we? Yeah, so this is my inventory file. So let me save this. So I have created Ansible server, I have installed Ansible, I have set up my inventory as well. If you see this host file, then we have different groups. Okay, so now let me just execute one command. As of now, we haven't provided any connections, right? So I have just used IP addresses. So let me try to execute Ansible all -m ping. So I'm trying to use one module called ping. So we have one module called ping. Remember the modules, guys. This will be asked in interviews. What are the different modules you have used in Ansible? So currently we are trying to use one module called ping. So hit enter. See what is happening. So it is asking us for the connectivity. So I will tell as yes. Red color. Red color means
Error.
error. Purple color means warning. Right, so this is what we have seen, right? So here what is happening, our Ansible controller, it is trying to connect to our IP addresses. Here if you see this 172.31.16.177, and this is waiting for the password, so it is unable to connect. So always read the message what happened. So failed to connect to the host via SSH. Warning, permanently added 172 some IP address to the list of known host. Okay, it is trying to connect with the help of root user, and then this is the IP address. Since there is no passwordless authentication, we are unable to connect. Right? Understood?
Yes.
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 So now what we need to do, we need to provide passwordless authentication. Okay. So if you want to exit any playbook, then you can use Control C, user interrupted. Okay. Now if you see this same, let me execute this way. So instead of all, this time I will use worker 0. Okay, -m. So what it is doing, say, it is trying to connect to the server called 152. If I scroll up, this is my 152 IP address. Hit enter. Unreachable. Right now, this time I'm trying to execute my command only on server 01. Sorry, worker 01. So IP address will be 177. If you scroll up, 177. Understood how we are able to segregate different servers?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now let me go to my home location and create one SSH-keygen for passwordless authentication. I hope everyone is aware of this process. This process is very important. After getting into the jobs, you cannot ask anyone how to create a passwordless authentication because this is very common. You need to be aware of this process. This will be asked in interviews as well. Okay, this will be asked in interviews as well. So let me share this document. Try to save all the documentations, guys. Okay, so here we have a kind of lengthy process, but I mean, since I was using EC2FN user, so not required in our case. So I have created one public key. So let me copy that and then public key. So this is my keygen, which I need to copy in my worker nodes, right? So this keygen which has been generated in the root user, I need to copy in my worker 01 and worker 02. So let me copy and then let me go to worker 01, connect, instance connect. Okay, this is Ubuntu user. Let me switch to root user. Okay, let me go to cd.sh, sorry, cd.ssh. Then which file we need to make the changes? Authorized underscore keys. Complete process we need to explain in interviews. Okay, so I have copied the key. So let me save this key. Now if you want to test, then let me just copy this IP address. And this is my master machine, SSH root @IP address, private IP. Since we are trying to use private IP, I will be trying to connect. See, now we were able to successfully connect to the worker 01 without any password, right? So let me exit from this. So this is my Ansible master machine, guys. Now what I am doing, I am just trying to execute Ansible all -m thing. So what will happen? It will connect to one server and it should reject to another server because we have passwordless authentication only to worker 01. So let me exit. What happened?
Ansible spell.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sudo is Ansible -f version. Yes, I'm in the same server. Ansible all -m thing. To one server, this has been successfully connected, and to one server, this has been failed. Okay, so if it is successfully connected, the response for ping should be found. And here you can see success. Okay, so let us follow the same process and try to capture this, and try to execute our commands. Okay, so root dot id underscore dot public. So this is my public key. Let me copy this key in my server 02, right? So this is my worker 02. Let me connect. cd.ssh va authorized underscore keys. Copied, done. So once we have copied, then let me try to again execute the same Ansible. This command is nothing but add command, guys. Okay, so this command is nothing but add command. Add command is nothing but a single line command. Okay, so here I'm just trying to check the status of my servers, whether my servers are up and running or not. Okay, so what will happen? Let us see. 172 success, 152 success. Means now we got all the connectivities to our servers. Understood how we can control from master to worker machines, how to create connections.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
for example, now Ansible host. Okay, so since I have executed all, it was able to check both the servers. For example, let me just try to execute worker 01. So what will happen? It will only connect to one server only. See, only one server, that is 177. See, this is the basic output what we are able to see. If you want to see in more detail, here you can see hyphen VV is nothing but verbose. So what it will do, it will help us to get the complete details, in-depth detail of our log. So if I'll execute this, see the screen completely is changed. See, the output is very long now. Earlier it was very short. The moment I have added hyphen VV, we can see lot of lines have been printed. Means hyphen VV is nothing but verbose. What it will do, it will help us to capture the in detail logs for our execution. Means whatever you are trying to do, you can check everything from this parameter. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For example, I want to see the uptime of both the servers. So once configured, then just execute the command. Uptime. What happened? See, the module uptime was not found in configured module path. So from where it is referring? Means where do we have these modules? If you see this ansible.cfg and scroll up. Here you can see the path of the modules. Means from this particular location, we have all the modules which are supported by Ansible. So if something is not working, for example, this is not working for us, right? Means that module is not available. Here you can always read the message. The module uptime was not found. Means there is no such module called uptime. Okay, there is no such module called uptime. So what we need to do? We have one module called shell. For example, hyphen shell. So what this module will do, this module will help us to execute the commands. For example, you want to execute uptime, right? So what we can do, we can use the module called shell. Hyphen a parameter will help us to execute the command uptime. Hit enter. See, now we can see the output. So we are trying to use a module called shell. Shell is nothing but one module which will help us to execute some commands. But if you want to execute the command, then you need to use the parameter hyphen a and then the command. So it is telling that it has been up from last 24 minutes. For example, if you want to create a directory, hyphen a mkdir ansible hyphen controller, hit enter. What happened? So this directory name, let me put this in. Okay, see, changed means it was able to successfully apply the changes. So let us see where this directory has been created. Okay, here it will see Ansible controller. This directory has been created in worker 02 and in worker 01 also it will be available in the home location. See, Ansible controller. For example, you want to check for the specific file if it is available or not, or else you want to see the running servers ps-ef. You will get all the details of that servers. which services are running in that machines. See, change. Okay. For example, you want to delete something, then you can do this. For example, I'm trying to create or use the same command again. I mean, same module. So what will happen? Failed because file exists. It is getting failed because file is already exist, right? So if you want to do some basic operations like checking or creating a file or making any changes, then for that purpose, no need to write a playbook. You can use Ansible ad hoc commands. Okay, understood?
So we can delete by rm-rm
Yes, you can
by
delete.
using shell.
Yes. Basically, shell will help us with any module which can execute any command. Whatever you want to execute, you can execute inside shell module. So how many modules we have seen? How many modules we have seen?
2.
Modules. One is Ping, one
Second one is shell.
shell. Okay. So as of now, we have came across two different modules. Okay. So now let me, I mean, I want you guys to help me out with this. For example, I'm using the module called ping only and hitting it up. So from where it is trying to get the details of our inventory. The moment I'm trying to execute this command, Ansible all is nothing but group name, -name is nothing but module, and the module name is ping, right? So from where it is able to get the details, from where it is going and checking.
It is
Worker
from
servers.
worker servers. Both the
Worker
worker
servers,
servers.
right? But from where it is able to get the details of the
Inventory.
worker server
Inventory.
inventory. So where is our inventory?
Host.
etc Ansible host. But
Ansible
why
host.
it is going and checking that particular location only?
That is the default.
Yeah, so that is the default. For example, I will just create one more inventory. So where I'm trying to create in this root location, I'm trying to create one file called touch software underscore inventory. So can we create inventories with other names? Yes, it is also possible. Can we create inventories at different locations? Yes, that is possible. Can we create multiple inventories? Yes, that is possible. Doesn't mean that we should create inventory at only one location. We can create inventory at any location with any name. Okay, I'm just creating one inventory called software inventory. Okay, and I will just try to copy this IP address. I'm not sure which server this is, but let me copy. So here I'm using. Okay, the group name is software itself. Okay, this is my inventory. Okay, so I have copied the IP address. So everything is done. So what I have did, I have created one inventory at my root location. So this is the location of my inventory. Now I want my Ansible to go to this inventory and execute or perform the operation. So how can we do this?
So do we need to change the path of that
Not
the
required. No
configuration?
need to change anything in configurations. We need to use Ansible -i. -i parameter is nothing but the inventory. So where is our inventory? In root. This is my inventory. Means I'm telling my Ansible to go to this particular file. This is nothing but my inventory, custom inventory. And check for the group called software. So I will pass the group name software. And then -name and then my module. Let us see what will happen. See, it was able to successfully connect to my 152 server. So if you have different inventories with different names, then always make sure that you are passing the parameter -i and pass the path of the inventory and the group and then the module. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Go.
So how many
Yes, sir.
inventories can we create? You can create any number of inventories. How many you want, you can create, because what will happen is I have worked on one project and there were around 2000 servers. How many servers? We had 2000 servers. So all the server details I cannot configure in single inventory, right? Because 2000 servers were segregated for 40 applications. Means overall under my manager, there were 40 applications. So for 40 applications, we have three environments: development, staging, and production. So what we used to do, we used to create the inventory with the application name and with the environment. And we need to maintain lot of inventories. But you should always make sure that you have a specific location. Means you cannot create inventory on root and one inventory in OPT, one inventory in ECT, right? So we should always make sure that we have everything in the same location. Then it will be easy for the it will be easy for everyone to check the inventories and work on that. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Got
Yes, Rakesh.
For example, here see what I will do. I am trying to use the default inventory. Means if I don't pass anything, so what it will do, it will go to the default inventory. If we pass the parameter, then it will check the path where we have passed. So what I am trying to do, Ansible, and then what is this? This is the group name. So do we have any group name called Saber in the default inventory?
No.
No.
No, right? Then I am trying to pass the parameter -n and thing. So let us see what will happen. Hit enter. See what happened? Here we can see some warnings. Invalid characters were found in group names but not replaced. Could not match supplied host pattern, ignoring Saber. No host match, nothing to do. Means there is no such group name called Saber. So Ansible cannot do anything. So this is what it is trying to tell us. Always read the logs. Okay. So if you are passing something which is not available, I mean the group name, then it will not allow. This group name should be available in the inventory. Clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So let us see some basic ADA commands for today. Okay. For example, here we have Ansible ADA commands. So we have different ADA commands. Okay, so Ansible all -m ping. So what it will do, it will help us to check for the connectivity. If we have different inventories, I can also pass the parameter like this. Okay, and this is very important, guys. Make sure of this module. Remember the module called setup. This is very important. I have seen in lot of interviews they will be expecting the setup module answer. Okay, so how to gather facts of slave machine. So this is the description and this is the command. So let us see what exactly it is doing. In Ansible, always expect that they will be asking you the modules and also they will asking you to write some basic playbook to install Apache or Nginx and on which port number Ansible will work. How can we create passwordless authentication? So these will be the basic playbook, basic questions what we can expect in Ansible. Okay, so if you'll see this, if I'll scroll up, Ansible all -m setup. Setup is nothing but one more module. So what happened the moment I have executed setups? Here, if you see this, Ansible facts. Okay, it is trying to setup module. What it is trying to do as per the description? As per the description, what it will do?
Gather the facts of slave machine.
Only looks like Sheetal, Obed, and Chetan is available. చెప్పండి ఆన్సర్ నాకు నిద్ర వచ్చేస్తుంది మాట్లాడి So what it will do?
Gather the facts of slave machines.
What facts it is going to collect?
Information
Yeah,
or information.
information. Someone said that right. Okay, so it will try to collect all the information related to your EC2 virtual machine. See here, you can see this IPv4 address is 177, and then we have the IPv6 address. So this is the IPv6 address. Okay, and here you can see the Ansible architecture x86 BIOS date, the image what we have used. Okay, and this is the root user and the date and time. Okay, so which date, which time, and then it is trying to capture the our all the IP. You see 177, 225 gateway IP, and we might be having our public IP as well. Okay, and if I scroll down, see, it is trying to capture all the information related to our EC2. So now the question is, what you will do with this information? This is the important point what I just want to tell. Okay, so now we got, okay, we know that setup module is there which will help us to collect all the information. So what you will do with this information? In general, if suppose I got the details of
infrastructure.
Sorry.
We'll get to know the infrastructure of that particular system.
We get to know the information. I mean, the what machine it is, what is the core, what is the IP, and all the details. So generally, if you'll get to know all the details, so what we can do? We'll be always in a advantage, right? I mean, I can blackmail anyone if I'll get the complete information, right? Yes or no? We'll always have the advantage of that. So here also, who said yes? You want to blackmail someone? So information is very important. So if I'll collect the information, I will understand, okay, so this is my Ubuntu machine. Pawan asked initially, right? So what if I'll have Linux machines? How will we know? If suppose I have some Linux machines and some Ubuntu machines, my playbooks will be different, right? So what I will do is, let me design this. This is very important, okay? So yeah, so this is one playbook for Nginx on Ubuntu. Okay, and then we'll have one playbook for same Nginx. This is for Linux. Okay, so where are these playbooks available? These playbooks will be available in our controller. Okay, so if suppose we have 100 servers, I'm trying to execute this playbook, Ubuntu playbook. For example, I have 2 servers for now. So we have 2 servers. Okay, one server is Ubuntu, one server is Linux based. So what we can do, if suppose you are trying to execute the playbook in all the inventory, means in one inventory you have Ubuntu as well as Linux details. For example, let me design this as well. So here we have inventory. This is my inventory. I am just writing as host name. Okay, here I will be having one Ubuntu IP and Linux IP. Okay, so for example, I have executed my playbook, this one. So what will happen? If suppose I'm executing my playbook for Ubuntu, this playbook name is Ubuntu. So what will happen?
It will connect to the Ubuntu servers.
Ubuntu EC2 will connect.
So it will connect to Ubuntu EC2. I mean, this is my inventory. In my inventory, I'm passing both the names, both the IP address. So Ubuntu, it will be successfully installed, and Linux, it will be failed. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I don't want to see the failures on the screen. Means I don't like something is not working for us. And we have one more playbook Nginx. So what I need to do? I need to write different playbooks. Means for Ubuntu different playbook, for Nginx different playbook, and then I should have different host names or group names, so that I don't want to see any error. Or else we have one more thing. Understood, right? What I want to say.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in this case, I don't want to write multiple playbooks. I don't want to segregate my host file. Means there should be only one playbook. There should be only one playbook. I don't want to write multiple playbooks. So what I will do, this playbook should work both for Ubuntu or Linux. Okay, this playbook should work both for Ubuntu or Linux. So in this particular playbook, I will write a condition called when equal to OS underscore distribution. So this is some command, not exact syntax what I'm writing, but I am just telling that there is some syntax called when expression can be used, and we can check for the OS distribution. So from which module we are able to collect the OS distributions?
Setup module.
Setup module. So with the help of setup module, we can segregate. Means if the OS distribution equal to Ubuntu, then it should execute this particular play. If the OS distribution is Linux, then it should execute this particular play. So this is how I can segregate in one playbook itself. I will pass some conditions over there, but that conditions will be applied only when we use setup module, because with the help of setup module only I can capture the details of my system. Clear?
Yes, Sabir.
Yes.
Okay, so here we have this distribution. See, Ansible distribution means I will pass the condition like Ansible underscore distribution equal to Ubuntu, then execute that. If Ansible underscore distribution equal to Linux, then execute another file. That's how we are going to segregate. Hope this was clear.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and then what we have? Okay, and we have, for example, what if you don't have SSH key based? For example, so in order to connect to these servers, only SSH is not required. Means if suppose you don't have passwordless authentication, so can't we connect to our servers? If you don't have our passwordless authentication, so can't we use Ansible? If you don't have passwordless connections, can we use Ansible or not?
No.
We can use Ansible.
We can.
You can pass the username and the password over here. Okay, if you don't have SSH key based, then you can use a parameter called, this is our command, and I'm telling my command to use this particular parameter called -user, and then ask for the username, and then it should ask for the password. Then user will execute the password.
So we need to create a user in our.
So there should be common user, ANSADM, or you can create any username, common user in all the servers. Or else what will happen, for every user there will be different passwords, or the username will be different, right? So we cannot, this is not much feasible for us, but it is still possible.
So we can use root user also.
If you have password for root, yes, you can use root as well. Okay, you need to pass the username here and then this parameter. So what it will do, it will ask the user to enter the password. Similarly, we have the read variable in bash scripting, right? So what it will do, it will ask the user for input. So same. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then what module do we have? We have a module called, this -a is nothing but command. Should say -m is the module, and -a should contain the command. Okay, and then we have something called free -m. So what it will do, it will help us to check for the free memory. Okay, and then these are some basic commands. I will share this document. Try to execute all these modules. All these ADA commands. Okay, If you want to create any group, any users, then we can do that. If you want to change the ownership also, you can do that. See, we have one more module called file. So to which particular file you want to make the changes. Okay. For example, now our prerequisite, I mean our requirement was to install Apache. Our requirement was to install Apache. Okay. So how can we do that? With the help of playbook or else with the help of ADA commands as well. So the problem with ADA commands is that is feasible for small operations. For example, if I executed this command, this might install my Apache. This might install my Apache, but again, if you want to do this, every time we need to write the command. So if you'll have playbook, one-time activity, then we can use n number of times. Okay, so if suppose I'm executing this Ansible all, -m module is m, -a command I'm trying to pass is httpd state equal to install. So what will happen?
Apache
What will
will
happen?
install.
Okay, let me
Will
execute.
install in our server.
Will it install? What happened?
Failed.
APT.
Package manager M.
Invalid.
No, that is not something related to m for now. I mean, let us try to read this error. Okay, value of state must be one of either absent, either built -dep, or fixed, or latest, or present. So what it got is installed. Means what it got is installed. So here I'm trying to pass install, which is not available. So you need to use any of these parameters. This is what Ansible is trying to tell us. So let me make the change. So instead of install, I will use
Latest.
latest. Hit enter. Let us see what will happen now. Now what happened? Again it got failed. Why? Read this message. Always read messages.
So first we have to update the package.
Package no install has no installation.
Package. We are using a
Sorry, by
HTTPD
We have to
package
update
is
M.
available in Ubuntu.
HTTPD package is not available. So what we need to do? Okay, so we have seen something message over here, and if you want to get the more in detailed view, so what we can do is I can use -vv.
-v.
Okay, so this will help us to get more details. We can also use 3v's. Okay, that depends. Okay, if I'll execute this, let us see what we can see. So here, if you see this establish SSH connection, means the connectivity has been successfully applied. Okay, and then the cache it is trying to update. If I scroll down, here the package is HTTPD. Force I have to get is false. Allow authentications. So here also I am able to see some same message. I mean, I didn't got much information. So what we need to do? So let me just go to that server itself. So as I said always, I mean, for every time if you want to do any automation, first you need to understand the manual process, right? First we need to understand the manual process. So let me manually test my command m install httpd. So this is what I'm trying to do, right? So here,
yes.
this is what I'm telling, that httpd is my package and state is latest is nothing but install. So m is my module. So I'm just executing my module name, then install httpd. So let me install. See what happened.
Ubuntu, brother.
I think for Ubuntu
Ah,
Apache 2 we have to write.
so this is Ubuntu.
APT and Apache 2.
So module should be
APT and
APT.
Apache 2.
So if I'll use APT, okay, so let me do one thing. Let me execute from my playbook, from a command, add a command. So let me remove this -vv. I don't want detailed log now. So m module will not be supported. So this is the first thing what we have discovered. So what module? We can go for the module called APT. So how many modules we have seen? We have seen ping, we have seen APT, we have seen M, we have seen shell module, and we have seen file module, we have seen setup module. Okay, remember these modules. Let me hit enter. Let us see what will happen. See, again, we have seen some issues. Package HTTPD has no installation candidate.
Actually,
So
actually,
let me again go to the server. Let me check apt install HTTPD. See, HTTPD has no installation candidate. Here it is trying to tell something and telling us that HTTPD has no installation candidate. Same error. Do we see any difference?
No, same error.
Even if I'm executing from Ansible or executing manually, same error. So always check the error in your server. I mean, manually test your command. It means that there is no such package called HTTPD for our Ubuntu. So we have package called apt install Apache 2.
Apache 2.
Apache 2. So this is the package which is available. So let me do no from here and let me come to my playbook again. Instead of HTTPD, so what I will do is I will use Apache 2. But here why it is accepting? I mean, as per my document, it is working. Why? Because it is for Linux environment. For Linux, this is the actual command which will execute. Okay. So my package name is Apache 2 and state equal to latest. So let us see what will happen. Now again it got failed.
-y.
Fail to fetch security hyphen fix missing. So first let me update my servers. Okay, Ansible all -m shell -a apt update -1. Let us try to update my two worker machines, worker 01 and worker 02. Okay, it is trying to update. So my packages has been updated. Now let me execute my command to install. So always check for logs, go to the server, test your command first, whether the command what you are trying to execute is available or not, whether it is working manually or not. If it is not working manually, then no use of wasting time. We need to check about the packages as well.
but manually it was executing server.
But I haven't executed completely. I have
Yes.
executed half and then I have interrupted that request.
Got it.
See, this time something happened on the servers. See, something happened and it was able to install. See, this was our first request and this is our second request which has been changed. Means we were able to successfully install Apache 2 in our worker machine. So if you see this and if I'll do systemctl status Apache 2, the service will be stopped because this is also running. See, our Apache 2 is running. So if I'll copy the IP address, see Apache 2. Understood? So this is how we can execute our ADA commands. Whatever operations you want to do, you can execute from Ansible and you can perform the activities.
It got installed on both the servers or only the worker one?
Both the servers. So this is worker 01 IP 120. Okay, and this is worker 02 IP. Because I have executed as all. So it will execute, it will install in both the servers. See,
Are there any other like
Yes.
how it got started as well? Because we have just
basically that is something related to our module only, the module what we have used.
okay. Got it.
Okay. So if suppose you want to stop, state equal to stop. Okay, not available. So stop is not available in Ubuntu. Then we can use absent. So what it will do, it will try to delete. Absent, it will not stop, but it will try to delete. Let us see what will happen. See, it is making the changes.
I
Let
think
us
it's
see
uninstalled.
whether it has been stopped or uninstalled. Let us see that. Refresh, it is not working. 120, right? So this is my 120. Now if I'll do status Apache, region exited. Now if I'll do find /name Apache 2, let us see what happened. And don't spelling, okay, PACHE2. There are some packages, but it has stopped our service. Okay, so this is how we can control everything from our Ansible master only. No need to log into any server. Even if you want to see the status, then you can check the status from here itself. Right, so I will be sharing this document. Try to execute some basic ad hoc commands. There will be a set of tasks for today. So try to work on that, try to watch the video, write down the notes, copy all the module names because this is very important. Focus on setup and focus on the architecture of Ansible and passwordless authentication. Basically focus on everything. Okay, so guys, do you have any questions for today?
So somewhere, if you are trying to install in 10 server and one server is giving a error, so how can we find that?
So what will happen is, for example, let me stop one instance. Okay, so what I have did, I have stopped one instance, right? So let me try to execute one command. Ansible or like name ping. I'm just checking the connectivity. So it should pass for one server, it should fail for one server because one server is not available. It has been shut down. See, failed, unable to connect. So if I'm trying to execute my command, for example, state latest, let us see what will happen. So basically the output will be unreachable, fail to connect host, because there is no such machine which is available, right? So this is will be the error. So what I will do, so okay, so first part has been successfully executed, 152 is not available. So what I will do, generally if you see the message, what you will do, you will check the server whether that server is running or not, or else you will execute the ping command to check if the server is responding or not. There might be cases where the server might be shut down or the connectivity, the SSH keys what we have copied, right, that might have corrupted. So again we need to pass the keys.
Or we have to check with them manually.
Yeah, we need to check that. If you are unable to connect to the server, you cannot do anything, right? There's no point in trying executing different modules. That's time waste.
Got it.
See, guys, remember one thing, there is no possibility of 100% automation. That is not at all possible. Everyone, as currently in the market, everyone wants 100% automation, but that is not possible. Even they know that. There should be at least 20% of work which needs to be done manually. Even if I am trying to write some playbooks and automate, but still I am trying to execute this command manually only. At least 20% of work should be done manually. Okay, so always go and check manually. Okay, guys, any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Brother.
Yes.
Brother, there are two EC2s are there, so you can copy that SSH key and paste it manually, so that's okay.
Yes.
So what if there are 100 of servers are there now?
Yeah, right. I mean, he has a really good question. So if suppose we have 100 servers, then it will be again a manual work for us to copy all the keys in 100 servers, right? So that is a one-time activity what we need to struggle for. But do we have any chance of escaping? I mean, to automate that as well? Yes.
Yes.
Can someone go on mute? Yeah, so we do have a chance. Instead of copying manually, we have one method, that is by creating common users and passing the passwords. Again, creating users is a manual work. Even you don't want to do this, then we do have one more option where we can execute one playbook and copy the SSH keygen itself. That part will be the task in the coming days. So you will identify, or you will work on to I mean, you will be working on that solution itself. Okay, Nagaraju?
Right, brother. Thank you.
That will be your task. So we'll try
right now or coming days?
I don't think so today. Let me just check one second.
Okay, no problem.
I don't think so that will be in today's session, but because we haven't covered playbooks, right?
Right.
That will be in the coming days.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, but right. There will be some manual. We need to struggle for something for sure.
Okay.
Guys, any other questions?
పింక్ బదులు పాంగ్ అని వస్తుంది ఏంటది?
అరే పింగ్ అంటే పాంగ్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు అది యాన్సిబుల్ వాళ్ళ రెస్పాన్స్. అది ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు ఫోన్ చేస్తే అవతలడు ఏం చెప్తాడు? హలో అంటారు. ఎందుకు ఇంకా నేను బతికి ఉన్న ఫోన్ తీసినా మాట్లాడు అని, రైట్? అది ఎందుకు హలో అని ఎందుకు చెప్తావు నువ్వు? హలో అని
It's a girlfriend name of one English word.
That's the girlfriend name of the one who has created that. I mean, this calling and all, right? So he has used that name initially, and we are following that legacy. That's it. So I mean, that's the protocol of the Ansible. They have developed in such a way. So if you want to change the response, then you need to develop one tool on your own. I cannot do anything on that. Okay. Yeah, someone was asking something.
Saber bhai, can we write our own adapt commands in modules without using the shell?
Yeah, we do have a lot of adapt commands, right? Without using shell, yeah. See, we have this file. See, we have different modules. Except other than shell, we have different modules as well. See, we have one module. This is one module. Here we are not using shell module, right?
Okay.
If what generally I will do is, I mean, when I was working on Ansible, if any of the commands were not working for me, then I used to use shell and I used to execute the command, because I was more familiar with the commands rather than these modules. So I used to pass the module as shell and then the command what I want to execute. So that's how I used to work at that point of time.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop this recording.